Hey guys, welcome to Sippin Spillin with Syd and Mike from 3 Mississippi. It is actually turned into a really nice day here.
It's warm.
It's not.
It's over 55, I bet.
Oh yeah, I think it said it's like 65, which is funny because like it almost feels warm to us now. I think we've really adjusted.
I don't know if it's 65, but it's probably pushing 60 anyway.
It's pretty warm. I'm usually like
feels pretty warm.
Yeah, I'm usually cold. I mean, it's pleasant. It rained last night quite a bit. Like I think we got like a half an inch. But
I was looking on Facebook and our old place, Ramona, is getting hammered with some water.
Oh my goodness, yeah. California has just gotten hit with all kinds of storms, which of course it happens like every 8 to 10 years. Every 8 to 10 years, California just gets hammered with rain, and then our drought cycle starts again. But what happens is because everything's so dry in between, like erosion and roads flood and houses
rocks rolling down mountains.
Yeah, like it's bad. Like and then like I saw like Bear Valley is just like completely covered in like 10 feet of snow. I mean, ridiculous amounts of snowfall up there.
Yeah.
So it's nuts. But
the snowfall is good because, well, as long as it's not enough to cause like major avalanches and stuff.
Right.
That snowfall turns into like a decent water source
throughout
for spring, summer, fall.
Yeah.
So.
But this all of Ramona just sort of.
They got a lot of water.
They got roads that are flooded. So I hope my old neighbors and friends that are out there are doing okay, because it's a struggle. I mean, I
talked to a couple of people. I talked to Tony. He's good. I talked to the people that bought our house.
Yeah.
And they're good. They said it got pretty wet. The creek got pretty high, but it didn't flood.
Yeah,
so that's good.
Yeah.
So, but it's funny because, I mean, if you ever got 3 inches of water at our old place in a day, that would be bad.
Yeah.
We've gotten 3 inches of water here a couple of times.
Yeah.
And it's pretty normal.
and it's weird too because the ground is ready for it. Like there, it just kind of sits on the surface, and you get a lot of flooding and stuff on ground areas and animal pens and things like that. And but it's just one of those things where it just goes in cycles, and they were due for another cycle.
Atmospheric river, they were calling it.
Yeah,
that's true.
River. But
what it is. I mean, a lot going on here. Always a lot going on here. But we made some progress. If you guys saw the most recent video we posted on 3 Mississippi, we finally made some progress. Got a break in the weather during the time frame that we could actually work on the chicken coop. So we got a little progress on the chicken coop, and I don't know, a little Easter egg in that video. Huh?
A little teaser, there
was a little Easter egg in that video. We were running the power tools for that video off of a Blue Eddy power station. And so we've been reviewing this thing for a little while. And we have a video coming out for that this week, Thursday.
Which normally we would do a video on Friday and on Sunday and our lives on Wednesday. But just because of life, it actually is going to post on Thursday instead. So there won't be a video on Friday, but
there will be one on Thursday.
Business as usual on Sunday and all that.
You definitely want to catch that video. It's worth watching, and we ran it through its paces. I'll say that I tested it as if I was going to use it, and I am going to use it. So I don't want to give too much away from the test video, but I'll tell you this. We were thinking about doing some trenching and running power down to the site where we're going to build the barn, and it's pretty far. I'd already looked into, the cost of copper right now is crazy, and if you want to run if you want to run 20 or even 40 amps worth of power, or a 50 amp sub panel that far, it was going to cost a lot of money just in copper. That's not counting the trenching. That's not counting running, the PVC conduit underground. So I'm seriously considering getting a couple of solar panels, putting them on top of the barn, and powering the barn off of like a Blue Eddy. I think that is, that's all we're going to need.
That's a good option. And, you know, and eventually, you know, which we talk about in Thursday's video too, like it's buildable. Like you can get more units to, like, if you want to run something that's a little more intense, or
if you
want to run multiple buildings off the same thing or something like that. So,
and I just don't think I'm going to need massive amounts of power at the barn.
No, really don't.
I mean, if you guys think of something that I am eventually going to want at the barn that draws more power than like my air compressor or a worm drive skill saw. I mean, I ran all these things off the Blue Eddy. I ran a 700 watt draw grinder off of it. So if you can think of a reason why I should spend the money to run power down to the barn, tell me, because the only thing I can really think of that we want in the barn is lights.
Yeah, I mean,
LED lights.
Well, yeah. I would like to have water down to the barn still.
Yeah, but that's not trenching for the same direction.
Right. So I do think that really just lights, because I'm gonna have the coop is gonna have the brooder built in it, so I won't be having like birds in the barn that need a heat source or anything like that.
Right.
Really, I mean, besides running water, very limited electricity that I would need down there.
Yeah, I mean, we could have, let's say we needed to run a pair of shears for sheep. I mean, any of that stuff can run off of, you know, one of these power units.
Yeah, for sure.
So,
and I don't feel like that would be a problem. And even, I mean, eventually, because between the coop, the barn, and eventually building like a tiny home, like an off-grid tiny home. I mean, that's
which I would use the
that.
same. Yeah, I would use it for that too.
So
I mean, look, if I need to run a welder down at the barn, I just take the generator down there. You know, the gas generator.
You have to get a welder first.
Right.
We have friends that know how to weld and have welders.
But I'm just trying to think of things that would have large amounts of draw that I would want to use. We have multiple gas generators. One of them's like 5,000 watts.
Right.
So, with 220.
But I mean, once the barn is built, I don't think there's anything down there that you would be doing on a regular basis that would be like needing large amounts of energy.
Right. Neither do I.
I mean, you're running a couple lights so you can see in there at night, and let's, you know. I
mean, I would eventually like to have a well dug somewhere on the property, probably in the vicinity of the garden, because I would, you know, potentially use that for irrigation. But I think what I would do is I would put a holding tank above ground with like a lower voltage transfer pump for pumping the irrigation from the holding tank to whatever I'm irrigating. And then I would probably look at a 120 volt submersible pump for the well itself. And that's going to have some draw. I mean, I don't know how much draw. It's going to have probably several amps, but I honestly think that I could run that off of a solar system, you know, with an inverter and a couple of batteries and a solar, you know, maybe 500 watts worth of solar panels. I'll have to look into that, but I think I could come up with a solution when I eventually do have a well dug, if I ever do, but I think I will, where I don't have to trench and run power down there.
Yeah, I mean, ideally, long term, having some kind of like energy system like that with obviously solar packs on it,
right?
You know, makes it a little bit more efficient and self-sustainable and less expensive to initially do with all the trenching and running all the lines.
I mean, I could definitely spend a little money on the solar system that would be required to run a well, but you know, if I have a transfer tank above ground, then I only have to run that pump during peak solar hours. You know, I don't have to worry about I need to draw water, you know, at 5 a.m. For my plants, and I don't have enough solar yet.
Yeah.
No, I use.
Well, and honestly, I mean, that's really only an issue during the summer when it's like not raining as much.
Right.
And there's plenty of sun then.
Well, I mean, I'll be irrigating my garden most days during the summer.
Yeah. Well, that's all right.
You know, I'll put some sort of a system in that is checking for, you know, if it has just rained, obviously it won't run.
Right.
Because it still rains every 9 days in the summertime.
Yeah.
But, you know, in between, I'll
hot.
have to irrigate every day.
Yeah. So Frankie and Mike went hunting again the other day, and unfortunately they did not catch any deer. Like, they got skunked hard.
She likes to say catch deer.
I do like to say catch a deer.
We're not going to catch a deer.
Listen,
I can tell you right now.
I can call it what I want.
We're not going to catch a deer.
When you go hunting, you catch it, right?
Hey.
He chose violence. I told you. I tried to warn
No.
him.
Hey. No.
He gets all cute and cuddly, and then he's like, and he only does it like when we're filming this for some reason. He doesn't do it like in the morning.
But if you grab him by the back of the neck and hold him for a second,
then he chills out.
He understands. Yeah. Nope, we're not playing.
But yeah, so they didn't even see any deer. Like, got completely skunked. It was just one of those.
And I haven't been seeing as many deer
in the morning
on the cameras in the mornings. I've been seeing a lot of nocturnal deer.
Yeah, I've seen.
And then I've been seeing a lot of evening deer.
Yeah.
So I feel like, you know, Frankie's best bet right now with the way these animals are acting is going to be an afternoon hunt. So
an evening hunt.
Yeah. So I think we were talking earlier about potentially picking Frankie up from school on Friday. So we eliminate that hour-long, you know, getting out of school, getting on the bus, right. You know, and we could possibly hunt Friday evening, Saturday evening if we have to. I just don't feel like Saturday morning is going to produce anything, but the evenings there's still a lot of deer moving. So
yeah, there's been a lot of deer. Like, when I've been driving, once the sun goes down during the week, if I'm running or picking Frankie up or something, I've seen a lot of deer at night.
Yeah, I think that last 45 minutes of daylight in the afternoon is our best bet right now. And our best bet is probably in the main pasture where we moved the deer blind yesterday. And I think that by Friday,
you moved it 2 days ago.
Or 2 days ago, whatever. I think that by Friday, that blind they'll be completely used to it where it's at, and it'll be fine. So we'll probably hunt that. The other silver pasture has a little less activity, but it has a couple of bigger deer. So she was excited to hunt silver.
Well, that was the first time you guys had hunted the other pasture.
It was the first time we hunted silver, and we didn't see anything.
Yeah.
But you know, for me, it's not about big deer. Like, she would like to kill a big deer, and I mean, I'll be fine with her killing a bigger deer. But you know, really, it's about getting 2 more deer collectively in the freezer,
right,
before deer season's over.
I think she just wants her first one to like have impact. Like, I think she's like excited to like mount
6'5" Creedmoor makes some impact.
Well, I think she's just excited to like mount it and like have bragging rights of like, hey, I did that. Like,
right.
You know, that's just a representative of, hey, I put meat in the freezer for my family. I contributed, you know. So, Bunko, stop choosing violence. He's over here looking super cute, but he's looking all super cute, and then he's like, violence. He's an adorable cat, though. Anyway,
I'm trying to teach him not to bite.
Violence.
Yeah. Oh!
Oh, you got me!
Dude, he lit me up right there. In the flank.
Wuss. You just literally gave me a shower. I think you got it more on me than the cat.
Yeah, well, he knows not to do that.
Good grief.
Luckily, I'm drinking water. Yeah.
Literally just like dumped his water on my butt.
Man, he lit me up right in the flank.
Whatever.
He was like, you won't let me bite your arm? Watch this.
One time they took an entire human being out of me.
Okay, that again. I was there.
I always say to him when he's like, oh man, that really hurt, or oh, and then I give him that line because
it didn't tickle.
Yeah, well, he's done it to me too. I get it.
Well, okay. Not like that. If he'd done that to you, you probably would have picked him up and taught him how to fly. I did teach him how to fly once because I had on like very thin, like loose pajama bottoms, and he decided to, because the way they moved, he thought it would be fun to grab them, and he jumped up with both claws and like grabbed me, and I was like, oh
no! And I like karate chopped him until he got off my leg.
So remember the time the cat tried to eat me at the old house? Was it Max?
Yeah.
We had this feral cat. I'm gonna tell you this story.
We had two. They were brothers.
Yeah. One of them didn't make it. Neither of them made it, actually.
Yeah, Max and Jack. Which was funny because they
were skittish. They were feral.
Yeah, Coyote must like got them hard. Like one got, yeah, anyway, go ahead.
Anyway, we were down to one at this point in time that this story happened. And he was Syd had him locked up in this, or were we not down to one? Doesn't matter.
They were both still there.
Yeah. Anyway, one got out.
And they weren't fixed yet.
And
so I didn't want them roaming the neighborhood. They weren't ready.
Well, not only that, but she wanted to keep them pinned up for like a couple of weeks.
So they knew home base.
So they knew where home base was. Anyway, this cat got out. And he's young. I mean, he's like 3 months old probably. He's young. But he's super feral and just mean. And so Syd's like, oh, Max got out or Jack got out, whichever one it was. And I need you to catch him. Okay. We'll see how this is gonna go. So of course, we go out there and we're trying to catch, and you're not catching this cat. Good luck trying to catch a freaking cat. So I'm mad at it though. So I'm back there and I'm underneath this cypress tree, and there's a chain link fence, and he's backed up against the chain link fence, and I'm probably like 15 feet away from him, and something else gets his attention, and I'm army crawling. I'm laying on the ground under this cypress tree, the weeds in front of me. And he's sitting there and he's hunkered down and he's paying attention to all these other sounds and things that are going on. And I and then I wait, and then I about 15, 20 minutes for me to close 10 feet between me and this cat. And now I'm like 5 feet from him. I'm not close enough to lunge, but he's still not looking at me. And then I snapped a twig or something, and he looks right at me. And he's staring me in the eyes, and I'm not moving. But I'm pretty sure we both know the other one's there right now. So I try to, and I'm on my belly, right? So I try to get up and move fast, and he can't go that way, and he can't go that way because he's in the corner of a chain link. So he goes the only way he can go, which is towards the pool. And he goes at full speed, and I hear a splash, and it's dark.
Yeah.
Okay, it's dark outside.
And he doesn't know there's a pool there.
Right.
He hadn't had free reign of the yard yet.
So he just takes off running from me at full speed, and I hear a splash, and I'm like, perfect, I got him. And I run to the edge of the pool just as he's got two paws on the coping, and he's trying to pull himself out, and I grab him by the back of the neck. This is when I realized this cat was possessed. This is the moment that I saw. Do you remember that movie Poltergeist? Or was it Poltergeist? No, it was The Exorcist. Where her head spins around? Yeah. This cat's head spins completely backwards in his body and latches on. And he's chewing on me, right? And his back legs are going he was gonna tear me up. So I get a hold of his front legs. It's like
one of those dangerous Mississippi Panthers.
I get a hold of his front legs, and then I get his back legs pinned between, I'm standing, and I get his back legs pinned between my thighs, and I'm screaming at Syd. She's watching TV.
I can't hear him. I'm in the house.
And he's just chomping. He's just eating my hand, right? And I'm screaming at Syd, and I'm about to think, well, today's the day this cat dies. This is how you die, right? And then finally, Syd hears me and comes running out, wrap this thing with a towel and take it off of my bloody hand where he's just been, He
makes it sound like he got bit by a shark. It was yes, it bit him and it scratched him, but it wasn't like you didn't need stitches or anything.
No, but it didn't tickle.
Well, I'm sure it didn't tickle, but it was very traumatic.
Yeah, whatever. You're welcome.
Yes, I was very happy that he caught the cat. And then
the coyotes caught the cat.
Well, that only happened we'd had him for a couple years before all of a sudden. And Max was funny. So Jack's, the first time we let them out, the next day, we never saw him again.
Right.
We appreciate he got eaten.
He got eaten that
week
night.
One, he was gone. And then, that's not true. He was there for like a week or two, and then all of a sudden, we heard the coyotes come through, and then no more.
But this other guy...
But this other one stayed with us for a long time.
He was super skittish.
He was super skittish. Like, you couldn't get near him, but he thought he was a chicken. He slept in the chicken coop. When I brought chicken scraps out for the girls, he would eat the scraps with the chicken.
He would eat like a carrot.
Yeah, like he was the weirdest cat ever, and totally thought he was a chicken. He would come closest to me, because he knew I fed him and took care of him and stuff. And he was
every time he looked at me,
yeah,
he was like, "Yeah, no, you and me, dog."
He was always catching gophers and mice and rabbits and all kinds of stuff. But yeah, he was the weird. Like, literally would curl up in the chicken coop with the chickens and sleep. Like, weird cat. Anyway,
I've never liked cats. I never had a cat my entire life.
I never had a cat till we had Jaden.
Till we had Jaden in our when we were in an apartment before we ever bought our first house.
That was right after we got married.
He just like started coming around. She just started coming around the patio, and we both worked at the bars and stuff, and we would get home super late, and like
she'd be waiting there for us.
2 a.m. She'd be waiting on the patio. So we'd feed her, and then finally Syd put a collar on her with a phone number, and then got a phone call.
Yeah. Why do you have your collar on my cat? And I was like, well, your cat's been living on my patio for like a long time. And I'm like, I come home from work at like 3 a.m. and the cat's there. And she's like, well, I don't see how that's possible because it sleeps with me every night. And I'm like, are you sure that you're holding your cat then? Because like it's there every time I get home from work waiting for me outside my door or on my patio. So anyway, she said this cat was the meanest cat in the world, and I could just keep it. And she was like, I'll bring by the vet records and whatever. Never heard from her again. She lived like a couple apartments over. She never came by, never brought the records, but that was the best cat. I mean,
it was a good cat.
She was a really sweet cat. She used to curl up on my stomach when I was pregnant with Frankie. She would come when I called her. Never had any problems with her.
Man, how long did we have her?
She was, the vet thought she was about 3 when I got her. And she died when she was about 16.
Yeah, I was going to say, we had her for probably another year or two before we bought the house in Harbison Canyon. And then we were there for 7 years.
Yeah, she was, well, I know she was like 16 roughly when she died.
And then we bought the house in
Which
Ramona.
I think she would have lived longer. Apparently there was a pet food recall that she was on that pet food, and I didn't find out about it until it was too late, and it shut her down really quick. So, but she was a good cat. And then and we've got Marty and Brutus that are our cats in the house, and then Bunko, who's our outdoor spoiled bush kitty.
I mean, I don't really like Brutus that much.
Well, Brutus doesn't really like you either. Brutus
I like Marty.
Really is only Frankie's cat.
I get along with Marty. We got an agreement, and Bunko and I are building an agreement.
He just wants to play. It's because, I've told him he'll want to roughhouse.
Because Bunko is cool.
He is. He'll want to roughhouse with you, like with him a little bit, and then.
No, I've stopped doing that for weeks now.
Okay, because I told him I was like,
I don't. Zero roughhousing.
Okay, because for a while he was doing it, and then he'd be like, "Why is he biting me?" I'm like, "Because he thinks you want to play. You're roughhousing with him, so of course he's gonna start smacking you with his claws." And since he's outside, I don't trim his nails out here or anything. So, but he's funny, man. If he knows that your hands are full, he will run right in the house instead of waiting and get right on the couch and sit down and look at you, and like lay down and be like,
pick him up, take him outside.
Yeah, but
he's not gonna become an indoor cat.
No, he just wants to cuddle. Like, well, but that's it. I come sit out here with him every morning and have coffee, and he falls asleep on my lap. Like, and he's funny because like I always say goodnight to him before I go to bed. I just pop my head out and say goodnight to him and check his food and water real quick again. And last night I popped out and he wasn't out here. I didn't say anything. I checked his food and whatever, and all of a sudden I hear, "Rah, rah, rah," and it's getting closer and closer. He was running from the pasture because he heard me come out here screaming at me to like wait because he saw me going back inside, or maybe that was this morning. I forget now. But
you told me that story this morning at sunrise. I came out.
Okay, then it was this morning when I came out to feed him. That's what it was.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah, I think you told me it was this morning,
Yeah,
but you may have told me it was last night. I was halfway listening to you because
you're a husband and that's what you do.
Because it was sunrise and I didn't really want to talk. I just wanted to sit here and
live your life.
Chillax.
Yeah. But yeah, he comes running off where the horses are over here up to me like
he's looking at you right now. It's like, you talking about me?
I know, he's so funny. He's a funny boy. So he's a talker. But anyway, yeah. So yeah, so remember, obviously tomorrow we go live with you guys tomorrow evening, and then after we go live, we got to go help move our buddy's washer up onto the pedestal, and then so that'll be a fun evening. And then Thursday we have the Blue Eddy video coming out on Through Mississippi, and
Sunday we're going to be posting another video in the food bank series. Tonight, for the next couple of nights, Frankie and I are going to be working on getting some seeds started. So we're going to go over a bunch of stuff about starting seeds and, you know, varieties and all that. So a little spoiler alert there. Spoiler alert.
Spoiler alert.
Me and ours, man. Spoiler alert.
I know. I told him sometimes, and I think it's partially because he doesn't enunciate, and he'll run his words into each other. And so what happens is, especially if there's a lot of R's, he'll be like, why do I sound, he'll watch videos of himself and be like, why do I sound like I'm drunk?
I sound like I'm intoxicated. Yeah. Anytime I'm saying words that have a lot of R's in them.
So I told him, I'm like, you have to stop.
Spoiler alert.
And enunciate.
No, that's not what you do in Mississippi. That's not what you do in the South. You just roll on through the words.
Okay. That's cool. That's cool, bro.
Y'all knew what I meant, right?
They know. Whatever. All right, guys. We will see you tomorrow
on Through
Mississippi on our live, and then hopefully we'll try to put out a video tomorrow. We'll see for
Sippin Spillin.
For Sippin and Spillin.
Yeah, we'll make it happen.
Okay. All right. We got off schedule this week, so it's struggle.
We'll get back on schedule.
We'll get back on schedule. We say that every time, but then life. Anyway, see you guys.